hello there, Treasure Valley. Again, I'm Stevie Kellum, and I am out in beautiful Eagle at the Hilton Resort. They've very lovingly allowed us to come down and meet with Muffy Davis, a Paralympian. Welcome to the show, Muffy.
Thank you. Thanks. It's an honor to be here.
Well, we've been having conversation here for what seems to be about an hour and a half, according to my husband, and I've really enjoyed the opportunity to get to know you, and I'd really like for the Treasure Valley to meet her the way I have, and I hope that you get an opportunity or come out of this interview feeling the way I do for you. I just think you're an amazing person.
Thank you.
Well, you're welcome. Okay, so you were actually an Idaho native as well, is that right?
Correct, yep.
From
Grew up here, yep. Grew up in Sun Valley. Well, first lived in Twin and moved up to Sun Valley when I was quite young, but went through school all the way through in Ketchum and Sun Valley.
Okay, in Ketchum. Okay, and when you were younger, then you were training. You were skiing, of course. What else? I mean, what do you do in Sun Valley? That's what you do.
Yeah.
So you were skiing, and tell me a little bit about your experience up in Sun Valley and skiing, and because I understand you were training with Peekaboo as well.
Right. We grew up together. Yeah. My parents put me on skis at 3 years old. They thought it was the best babysitter.
Okay.
Put me on skis. They could go ski, but they didn't realize how expensive it was going to be for them.
It is expensive.
Because I took to it, and by the time I was 7, I felt like I had found my special gift, and I told my mom that God had made me be a ski racer, and I started racing at a young age. Again, yeah, Peekaboo Street and I grew up racing together. We were each other's childhood rivals, and I had a lot of success, and by the time I was 14, I was named to the U.S. development team and climbing those ranks, and my goal was...
Now, was that a normal age for people to be...
that was a little young. Now, I'm not, I don't follow it as closely anymore, but around then, there were only like two or three of us at that age that were named to the development team.
Okay.
And then you get named to the full-on team between 17 and 19, maybe.
So they work with you and they grow
Yeah, it's
you
up and coming.
Gotcha.
They see kids with talent, potential. My goal was to go to the Olympics, represent my country. That's what I wanted to do.
And well, you did, but not
the way I had originally anticipated,
skiing,
right. When I was 16, in Sun Valley, in my hometown, I had an accident.
Okay.
It was an early downhill training run.
Okay.
And I went off the course and lost control, flew off a corner at about 50 miles an hour. It was a really tight cat track corner.
Okay.
And back in those days, we had those long skis. They don't even make them anymore, like 215 centimeters. Just couldn't hold the apex of the turn, lost control, flew off at about 50 miles an hour into the trees. And I hit the first tree with my back. Bounced off of that, hit the next tree, flew 5 feet, hit the next tree with my head, shattered my helmet.
Oh my gosh.
I mean, so lucky that I had my helmet, saved my life for sure. But when I hit that first tree, I sustained a compression fracture in the middle of my chest.
Okay.
So, and what that resulted in was paraplegia. And I was taken to the local hospital, stabilized, and as soon as I was medically stable after surgery, I flew to Colorado, where I spent 3 months at a rehab hospital, learning how to live, hoping that it was going to get better, but in the meantime, learning how to live an independent life in a wheelchair.
Okay, so it was in Colorado that you learned how to adapt to being in a wheelchair, and it's a whole new life. I mean,
oh, totally. I mean, of course, at first I was devastated, and mentally I was like, I'm going to get better, I'm going to walk, and I took all of that competitive energy and channeled it into my rehab. And if I could have willed it, I would have gotten better. Unfortunately, my spinal cord, the damage was pretty intense, and it never really healed. No change since the day of injury. But it was there over the time that I kind of grew to start understanding life as a person with disability. It took me about 2 years, though, really, to come to full acceptance, to realize I'm not going to wake up in the morning and swing my legs out of bed, and to be okay with that.
Okay, and not only were you okay, but you went on to go back to skiing, isn't that right?
I did. I went, while I was in college in California, and took adaptive lessons and learned how to ski again on a piece of equipment called a monoski.
And you became competitive with that as well, correct?
I did. It took me a little while. For me, at first, it wasn't very functional. It took a while to get the equipment dialed in, but once I did,
was that more of a mental thing too?
More actually really physical. Back then, this is a long time ago, the equipment for my high injury level really wasn't designed. I don't have any abdominal functioning muscles and limited lats, so the equipment didn't give me, it was like trying to ski in tennis shoes, for those of you that ski. There was just no support. And until we could get the equipment built up, that gave me the lateral support. And when I found the right equipment, that's when my skiing progressed immensely.
And then you went ahead to ski competitively until 2002, right?
I did. I made the U.S. team in '97, and in '98 was named to the U.S. Paralympic team and got to accomplish that dream and goal. Not the way I'd once anticipated, but I got to go compete in the Paralympic Games in Nagano, Japan.
Oh, wow.
And I won a bronze medal there, and then kept racing and competing and in 2002 again represent my country in Salt Lake City, where I won 3 silvers.
Oh, my gosh.
Yeah, so I was lucky. I was still able, Peekaboo was able to go to the Olympics, and I was able to go to the Paralympics.
Too. You know what? I think actually, Muffy, we have a clip that we'd like to show you, and as a matter of fact, we'll have the clip take us on out, and then we'll be right back with Muffy to find out what she's been doing since 2002, because she took a little break. We'll be right back with you.